What's going on? It's just going to be kind of a raw video of just talking about, you know, how things have been. And in this video, I just wanted to kind of talk about balance and relationships and things like that, and kind of the things I'm learning in my journey to improve in health, wealth, and relationships. So, in this video, we're going to talk about relationships. It's not necessarily going to be a video around something that I've solved, but more so something I'm actively working on. One of the biggest things that I've gotten from friends, the people around me, relationships, things like that, is ever since I've been on this self improvement journey of wealth and business and things like that, I've kind of been neglecting relationships. So that's the next thing that I'm working on. And I've built this identity around being this unfathomable force, being able to solve all of the problems and think about things very logistically. I don't know, one of the most common things that I've gotten, even like the moral of the story is like even if you become successful to a extent, you're succeeding, you're winning, there's still going to be other pillars that you need to work on, right? And I put a lot of attention into my business and my health, that I was neglecting relationships. And it's like I've built this identity of being able to solve problems really, really fast because I deal with so much stuff on a day-to-day basis. I get occupied with myself a lot with clients, with my health and all these things. In a sense, like a lot of people have mentioned that I'm almost like a robot. Now, my first thought was like, hmm, that's interesting. And I had to put my ego aside for a second and really try to understand what people meant by that. And because now it's starting to make sense. I did some self reflection, I did some figuring things out. So the old version of myself that I grew up with, that I wasn't treated the best, and whenever I had to lean on people, back when I was really depressed, before I started my self improvement journey, I was always leaning on someone. I would always be talking or making excuses, talking about a problem, and things like that. So in that process, I decided to kill that version of me off. And then I became really, really self reliant. I stopped asking for help. I would figure out solutions to my own problems on my own instead of asking for help, because I had a pattern of whenever I tried that in the past, it would always end up worse for me. And I identified that with the old version of myself, of the things that I went through in my past. And it's gotten me to this point, right? But in the process, through reflection, I noticed that it's impacting a lot of my relationships. And there's extremes to everything, right? I genuinely don't believe in the idea of you need to sacrifice everything in order to succeed in business, because that's a limiting belief, because you see a lot of guys who have had really good relationships and built up businesses and became rich, became super successful, still having friend groups, these millionaires, even billionaires, having friend groups, good relationships, all these different things. And then you have the extreme side is people are like, you need to sacrifice everything. But then you look 5-10 years later down the line, they got a bunch of money, they have all this success, but they're all alone. They've lost everyone in the process. And I was that version for a while until I realized it's like that's not what I want. I want to be able to be social, be around the people that I genuinely love and enjoy being around. And with that, I learned that okay, I don't need to be alone in this necessarily. You need to be, and I genuinely thought I was being really real, but I built this. framework of being able to solve problems so fast that people only saw the parts of me that were already solved. I never let anyone in to the bullshit that I had to deal with every single day. And because of that, that was affecting my relationships. People said I was robotic. They felt like they couldn't feel or understand who I actually was. And now I'm starting to realize it's like if I want to genuinely have a good future with the people I genuinely care about, the people I love, then I need to be willing to accept expressing the part of me that is in the process of solving these problems. It's not only because that's the thing. If you remain positive all the time and people preach like, "Oh, you need to smile all the time, you need to be positive all the time." And that's not a bad thing, but what's better than that is being real. And I'm not saying that I wasn't being real or I was being fake or anything. I was only being real to the sides of me that were already solved. But because of that, I wasn't able to connect with people to a deeper level. And this is important because I realize it ties into everything. It ties into having more empathy. It ties into understanding people more if you allow people to understand you more. And this ties into business too. It ties into sales, managing clients and things like that. And to be honest, there were points in me where I just felt completely withdrawn from things. And I wasn't consciously trying to do this. It was just a defense mechanism that I built up over the years of trying to escape the reality that I had, um, in which I started from. And it's like now I'm realizing that I can either continue down this path and not face that version of myself, or I can face that version of myself, integrate it, and accept it. It's not like you need to bitch and moan about everything. It's just about being real about both sides of you and letting people in to the dark side of your world and just understand, just to leave the door open. And that would reflect like a mirror in the universe to how you associate with other people. And that will help you understand people more. Because one thing I realized, whenever someone came to me with a problem or something, I was always known as the guy who would solve all the problems, right? But it's like I had all of these logistical solutions in my mind, which, sometimes, yes, that's a good thing. You want logistical solutions, logical solutions to fix certain problems, but it's not beneficial all the time. There's a point where it's more beneficial to, instead of trying to solve someone's problem first, to actually understand them to the deepest level. And that way you're able to build better relationships, connect with people more. It ties into business as well. You can feel more empathy towards people and become more of a complete human being. So I'm kind of realizing this extrapolates to all the pillars in my life. And I've noticed, I mean, this is a part of growth. This is part of the journey, is facing the parts of you that you don't want to face. Saying, speaking, and doing the things that you don't want to do. And you need to do it in a balanced way in all the pillars of your life because they all hold up like a foundation. And that's one of the biggest things that I've learned recently that I'm currently working on. I haven't fixed it, I haven't solved it, but I'm now understanding where I stand, and now I know what to do to be a better person. So think about it. See what parts of yourself you're shielding from the world and just allow people in more. Pause. But allow people in more to really understand you as a person, not only the bright sides, but also the ugly sides sometimes. And I'm not talking about complaining or making excuses. It's just being you. And that's one of the biggest things I've noticed is with a lot of people. And I'm glad I caught this now because I've seen friends, I've seen people around me who have stayed in this perfect image all the time, kind of like what I was doing. And it led them to places where they were worse off than where they started. And it's like I kind of realized all of this, and I'm glad that I did. And now I know what I need to do to fix it. That's it. I hope you guys enjoyed my little rant there. That's even being someone with the success that I have, the friends that I have, nobody's the more of the story is nobody's perfect. And overall, I just want to post content on this channel of expressing what it's actually like to be able to grow as an individual, and not only because this will help the people that are watching these videos too. This will help you guys if you guys are going through the same things. And sometimes just hearing a solution without explaining the situation and how you got there and what you had to go through, or explaining that, can help people understand more of who you are, and it hits deeper. But yeah, that's everything I have for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Leave a like, subscribe. I'll be posting more content like this, or if you guys want to have any specific questions, I'm going to try my best to be an open book. See you in the next video.